I don't know what it is, but I'm getting setup vibes. Is Ryan Garcia being set up by his very own promotional company? That's what I want to talk about in this video. You got to stay tuned. Let's get unpacked. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I just watched two separate interviews. One was Oscar De La Hoya, the other was Bernard Hopkins, regarding Ryan Garcia and his comeback after his first professional loss in boxing in his pro career. So, very weird stuff, and that's what I want to break down and unpack. And you guys are welcome to check out the interviews yourself and tell me your assessment in the comment section. So for starters, Ryan Garcia, he fought earlier this year against Gervonta Davis. He had been calling him out, said he was ready for Gervonta Davis, and he was dropped in the second round and knocked out in that particular fight via vicious, and I do mean vicious, body shot. Tank is like, you know I'm surgical with it, Jake! Bow, and sat him down with a vicious, nasty body shot. Ryan, it looked like he could have stood up, but he knew the end would have been near. And Tank is a killer, one of the best finishers, if not the best finisher in boxing. Him, Terrence Crawford, Wilder, those are probably the best finishers. In a way, he's a good finisher, better BF, but definitely Tank is in that top 5 best finishers in boxing list. And Ryan Garcia, he just elected to stay down, period. So he's at a very precarious position in his career. Because if you know, boxing is a very unique sport. It's mean, it's brutal, it's grueling, and it's unforgiving. Where you could be on top of the world, but you take a bad loss, the loss is bad enough, people immediately write you off. Like, for example, Jermell Charlo on top of the world when he knocked out Brian Castano in the rematch. Everybody was like, oh, Charlo's the man. He became undisputed, and he's living like a king. Oh, him and Derrick James, they're the best trainer and fighters. And, you know, same thing with Errol Spence. Errol Spence took a nasty loss to Terrence Crawford. People are saying retire. Jermell Charlo loses to Canelo after moving up 14 pounds, which I told you would spell trouble because weight classes exist for a reason. He loses bad, one-sided. People say, oh, Jermell, he's done and he's made too much money. He's not the same fighter. He needs to retire, all this type of stuff. So it's no different for Ryan Garcia. People, the jury's out. Anytime a fighter comes off a bad loss or a stoppage loss, especially the first in their pro career, because if a fighter keeps losing and they've been losing for a while, I think it's probably easier to embrace psychologically, or not even easier. It's just, it's not foreign. You've lost many times over, like journeyman and stuff. So it's nothing new to you. And it's dang sure, it's nothing new to the fans. The fans have seen you beat, or like Amir Khan. I mean, when he lost to Kell Brook, were you surprised? He got knocked out by Bradis Prescott, Canelo, Danny Garcia, hurt before, lost, you know. So it's not really shocking, if you will. But when a pro fighter is undefeated and they have a big profile and then they lose for the first time, that's a critical moment in their career because ain't no telling which way it's going to go after that. You can't tell, is that fighter going to ever be the same? It's just really dependent on the fighter. Some guys like Manny Pacquiao, I want to, it's up to my pro, I believe, woo, right? Pacquiao, he get knocked out and then come back like nothing happened. But there's many fighters who are not like that, and they take their first pro loss and they're almost never the same. Like Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones, I mean, he had the loss with Montel Griffin. I don't really count that because that was a DQ. He hit a downed opponent, and, you know, we seen what happened in the rematch. But when he lost to Antonio Tarver, he lost his very next fight to Glenn Johnson. You know, so at the end of the day, Roy is one of the people that kind of stick out, where once that aura was shattered, then I don't know if he was the same at that point in his career, right? So Ryan's young enough to bounce back for sure. But as I said earlier in this video, I'm really starting to question, is Ryan Garcia being set up by his promoter? And the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know what's up with this new age boxing stuff, like TikTok influencer boxing. But back in the day, when you take a nasty spill, you've been knocked out and you're a star that they're trying to build and they're trying to salvage and they're trying to continue to have you live to see and fight another day and build you back up. What you normally would do is your next fight, you would take an overmatched person. Like, for example, I believe Danny Garcia knocked out Amir Khan, and Amir Khan, his very next fight was against Carlos Molina. And Molina wasn't even the guy at 140. He had to come up, I believe, from 135. So he moved up a division, and Amir Khan had a brand new trainer. I think he just switched to Virgil Hunter at that time, left Freddie Roach, and he's coming off a knockout loss. So you want to make sure he gets his bearings back. So Amir Khan fought a smaller guy with minimal power and a brand new trainer, and then he knocked him out, and that was Carlos Molina. So that makes sense to me. That's kind of how it is. Like, you lost to Danny Garcia via knockout, so you bring him back almost slowly. Same thing with Broner. And ironically, just like the Amir Khan example that I gave you, where Amir Khan got knocked out by Danny Garcia, next fight brought up a guy, Carlos Molina, to beat, and that was his quote unquote soft touch coming off a Danny Garcia knockout. Adrian Broner fought the same guy after he lost to Marcos Maidana. I believe it was on the Floyd Mayweather undercard. So that's typically what you see happen. You put your fighter in with a guy that is not likely to kind of beat him, because you have to think of it. Golden Boy, they have invested time, energy, money into Ryan Garcia. They lost Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez was their big star. They already lost him, Ben lost him. That relationship seems very soured. Canelo has said nothing but negativities to Oscar De La Hoya, said he's a troubled person and he has real issues. He just recently said this on The Breakfast Club ahead of the Charlo fight that just happened. So with that being said, Ryan Garcia is their biggest star. And if you listen to these interviews that I'm talking about with Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya, it doesn't sound like Ryan Garcia is their biggest star. And it doesn't seem like their relationship is great. And it doesn't seem like they have a lot of faith in Ryan Garcia based on how they're talking. If you guys think I'm totally off, the only thing I would say is this. Go watch both interviews on Fight Hype and let me know what you guys think after. Don't just get on here and comment, oh, ego, and all that. Listen to both interviews and tell me it sounds like these promoters, Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya, I do believe. Tell me it sounds like they're on Ryan Garcia's side. It almost sounds like they're banking on or expecting him to lose, or at the very least, they believe that there's a strong chance that he can lose. Oscar De La Hoya, we'll start with him. So Oscar De La Hoya in this interview, and I'm just paraphrasing because you guys can watch the interview. Oscar De La Hoya was basically saying that he commends Ryan Garcia because he just lost to Gervonta Davis via knockout. And he said he was pleasantly surprised that Oscar Duarte was chosen by Ryan Garcia. And he's like, this is a dangerous fight. This is not the first time he said that. He keeps saying it. He keeps saying that Oscar Duarte is this dangerous guy and it's going to be a dangerous fight for Ryan Garcia. And it's not an easy fight. And it's a fight where basically Ryan Garcia can lose. And this is typically, from what I've seen in my experience, not really the energy that you see from a promoter when they have a cash cow. It's almost like when you see a cash cow with a promoter, it's almost like they are butt kissers. You know, it's like they're just trying to not step on the toes of that fighter. They have nothing but pleasantries to say about that fighter. And that's not the case here with Ryan Garcia. And if you just listen to these interviews, it sounds a bit weird because it sounds like they almost want Duarte to win. Dare I say that? And I wouldn't put this on anybody if I didn't really believe it. But if you listen to this interview, let's talk about Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins also made a comment where he said that depending on how Ryan Garcia, if he wins and should he win, he was using verbiage like that, like if he wins and there's no guarantee that he wins. He was saying stuff like that. He was saying that Ryan Garcia, depending on how he looks in his mind, Bernard Hopkins, he says that is going to determine if he thinks Ryan Garcia should continue with his career. So this just doesn't sound promising. It doesn't sound like two guys, your promoters, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, that have full faith in you. And the thing that's weird about that is because usually it don't matter, like a promoter, an advisor, and promotion, a lot of times they sound ridiculously all in and biased for their person. Like if you ask Frank Warren about Tyson Fury, even if it's a fight he could lose to like Wilder or something, he's not going to say that. He's just going to be like, oh, Fury, da-da-da-da. But they keep mentioning and making mention that Ryan Garcia could lose this one, which definitely has me questioning, is this a setup? Is Ryan Garcia being set up? And it's no mystery that Ryan Garcia has his own mind and has went against the grain in terms of going against Oscar De La Hoya and had public spats with De La Hoya on Twitter and things like that. Like there was even a point in time earlier where De La Hoya made mention that his best prospect is Virgil Ortiz Jr., not Ryan Garcia. And Ryan's like, yo, if that's how you feel, you could just release me and I'll go elsewhere. You know, I'll pick up my career somewhere else. And this was before Ryan Garcia lost. So there's been a tumultuous relationship. More recently, Ryan Garcia and De La Hoya was suing him because he didn't want Ryan to breach his contract. But Ryan Garcia agreed to do this fight. I don't know. This relationship seems mad weird. It seems like Ryan Garcia, first chance that he gets is not going to be with Golden Boy Promotions. It sounds like they're keeping it PC and they're keeping it cool just because they have to and the public image. But for me, it sounds like Bernard Hopkins and De La Hoya would almost prefer the underdog upsets Ryan Garcia. So I'm going to be watching this fight. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. This could be a very dangerous fight because when the promoter seemingly is all in on the underdog, you don't know. Because like when I start seeing this, we know boxing gets corrupt. Boxing can be dirty. So when I start seeing stuff like that, I start thinking of Pacquiao's last fight with Top Rank when he was in Australia and then they robbed him and said Jeff Horn won. So you don't know what scorecards are going to be. They keep saying this guy has a lot of power. And even in and of itself, the fact that they're willing to put Ryan Garcia in with he just came off a knockout and he's moving up in weight and he's fighting an alleged knockout artist really with nothing to lose. And I've already said that in the past. This guy has nothing to lose because he's not a big name. So that would put him on the map if you're like, dang, you know, because Gervonta beating Ryan Garcia, Gervonta, he's the A side. Gervonta was already established. People knew his name before Ryan Garcia. He didn't even have to fight Ryan Garcia and people would known who Gervonta Davis is. But this Oscar Duarte guy, he's just like an obscure name. So this would kind of put him on the map. So I'm going to be paying special attention to fight week and to this actual fight because it truly feels, to me at least, like Golden Boy and Ryan are at odds and they're not fully backing Ryan Garcia. And it could be something to do with after the Tank fight, Ryan Garcia, he went on podcast and different, you know, video footage leaked where he said, my team left me, Oscar left me, and Bernard Hopkins. So they showed their true colors. I don't think this has been healed and patched up. Just my thoughts. Let me know how I did. We unpacked. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC, Bluetooth ready, with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description, customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.